Hello, I hope you all are doing fantastic. I am going to do a sampling of maybe a distillery you haven't heard of before, New Holland Distillery. It's up in Holland, Michigan. And the reason I even came across these products, quite frankly, is because we have our house in Michigan, our short term rental, Vera Sagatuck, which, by the way, if you're interested in a wonderful place to stay, that's just a few minute walk from downtown Sagatuck, let us know. We'd be happy to provide the links and get you all the information so you can look into that. But uh, big shocker whenever I go someplace, I want to check out the local whiskey and bourbon scene if there is one. And, at least in Sagatuck, there was a couple of options. And I actually did a tasting video a while back on one of the ones that I had the first time from Sagatuck. I think it's operating out of Holland, Michigan. I think it was called Coppercraft, but I'll provide a link to that in the notes that are with the show. But and I've had these bottles for a minute, so as you can tell, this one's just about gone, and well, number two is there too. This one I haven't even tried yet. I just cracked the seal today. While I'm thinking about it, thumbs up. Appreciate that. If you like the video, love comments, love feedback. And if you're so inclined, subscribe. That way, as new content is produced, you'll get notified of that as well. So be sure to check that out. So again, thank you for taking time out of your day to tune in and watch this. But anyway, there's a tasting room in Sagatuck for New Holland. And I think I tried everything that they had. And these were, my memory anyway, the best options that they had at the time. Now, this one I just thought was cool because it's called Origin. It's Dragon's Milk. New Holland has a Dragon Milk Stout, I believe, a beer. My brother-in-law David, he loves that beer. But the bottle's cool. It kind of looks like dragon scales. And honestly, the thing that was the kicker for me on that one, and was that it had a dragon head pourer. So I was a sucker for the bottle, and then I was a sucker for the dragon head on it too. So kind of cool, right? So we'll just leave that on there. But let's talk about this Origin first. So we're going to go Origin, and then the I remember malted wheat whiskey, and then we have a American single malt 10-year barrel proof rum cask finish. So we'll talk about each of those as we go along. But the first one is the Origin. It is small batch bourbon whiskey, 95 proof. It is aged in charred American white oak barrels. Yeah, of course, aged 5 years on this one. It's been a minute since I've tried this, so I don't know if this will jog memory cells or what here. It does have you can smell the ethanol. That's kind of surprising because it is a 95 proof, right? So sometimes, at least in my experience, it depends. There's no absolute about any of this, but sub 100 proof, it's less usual anyway for me to notice the ethanol notes on the nose. Really, that's the strongest smell that I get. There's not a lot of other notes that I'm picking up on the nose. So let's give it a taste and then describe what I'm tasting. I don't know the mash bill really on any of these. I don't know if I could find it based on the research I did before. I'm sure it's out there. All right, let's talk about that drink. Whew. It drinks hotter than 95 proof. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I don't know if this is because I'm at the bottom of this bottle. Maybe there's something going on there. I detect, or I suspect anyway, that it's probably got a decently high rye content on that mash bill. There is, I would say, an astringency to it. Almost like, I know this probably isn't a flattering tasting note, but almost like a rubbing alcohol. There's a note of that. I do taste a lot of oak, a lot of wood. Not in a bad way, per se. as far as this drink is concerned, I would say it's okay. It's not my favorite. I've had worse, for sure. Is this something I'm going to get again? Honestly, I don't remember the price point. Um, Probably not going to get this one again, but I'm glad I tried it. So anyway, I'm going to move on to the next one. All right, the next one is the New Holland Spirits Single Barrel Malted Wheat Whiskey, 10-year. Let's see, bottled in bond, so 100 proof. So that tells us a little bit about that. It's malted whiskey, and to my knowledge, this might have been the first malted whiskey I've ever had. So we'll see. It's got a very similar nose to this origin. Now that I'm smelling just that little bit of that origin, I would say I can smell more of the oaky notes, but there is the rubbing alcohol smell on the nose a little bit. Maybe that's just characteristic of some of these spirits from New Holland. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not really picking up anything else on the nose. So let's go in for a taste. You know, that's what I would hope that Scotch tastes like. I'm not a Scotch fan, not yet. Will I be someday? I have no idea. I tried it not that long ago, and it was still something that felt like I was drinking liquid peat moss, which is not my thing. But with this, maybe it's the single barrel. It is 100 proof. Maybe it is the malted wheat. There is almost a hint for me of a little peat type taste. Something that, again, I very, very limited on my Scotch experience. I've maybe had definitely less than 5. But I do remember just about every one of those that I did have had a peat flavor to it. There's a peatness to it, but it's slight. It's very smooth. It drinks way less hot actually than this origin. Very smooth flavor profile from front and consistent from front to back. A little bit of heat actually toward the tail end. Like I said, it's like almost like a wheated bourbon maybe, or a wheated whiskey. But that malt to me is adding, I don't know if it is the malted wheat, but something in there is adding more of a peat like taste. That's the best way I can describe it. It is decently complicated as a drink is concerned. And I remember when I did the tasting to pick these 3 bottles that day, and especially between these 2 that I have, I remember enjoying this one a lot. I remember enjoying this one a lot over ice. So for what it's worth, that's a pretty good drink actually. It's a change up from a bourbon. I'm going to assume there's no corn in here at all. Probably no rye, since the label says it's a malted wheat bourbon or whiskey. It is a change of pace, but it's still, I can tell I'm drinking a whiskey, which, sometimes that change of pace is kind of nice. So I like this one. I would get this one again. All right, so let's pull out our third sample today. This is the Zeppelin Bend. Comes in this container, although they confess that the one that I got is actually a little bit damaged, but that's okay. Zeppelin Bend, 130 proof. Holy cow. 130.1 to be exact. American Single Malt Whiskey, rum cask finish, aged 10 years. See, I don't know a lot of the single malts here, so I guess I'm venturing into that with the one I just had and this one as well. So if you all know, I've been more of a bourbon or a rye whiskey type of guy. So if you all know, I guess I already poured myself. If you all know more about American Single Malt, ones to try and that sort of thing, I'd love to hear about it. So let's dive into this one. the nose on this one, it's I'm gonna go with it's pretty consistent with I guess the product line from New Holland Spirits. Definitely the ethanol. But whew, this one is 130.1 proof, so that's kind of smacking me a little bit in the nose. So let's give it a taste and see what it tastes like. Again, the first time I've tried this one, so we'll see. Drink's hot, as you would expect. That is definitely. Ooh, you do get the rum notes there. That's interesting. It comes kind of mid to late palate. Um, Man, it just burns my tongue. I'm gonna try this again. Mm. It reminds me a lot of this malted wheat whiskey. It's what I would imagine this would taste like at a higher proof. Um, mm, I don't know. I'm gonna just go on a limb here and venture a guess or a statement that I just don't know that much about single malts. And maybe this is characteristic of that branch of the whiskey tree. I don't know. It's so different from bourbon. I don't hate it. I want to try this one over some ice, and I might do that here later. I got to imagine that a little bit of water or maybe an ice cube or two would calm that down a whole bunch and probably open up a whole host of different tastes and flavors. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't hate it. I don't love it right now. Of the three that I'm sharing with you, this one was the most expensive. I don't remember what I paid. I just remember this was the most expensive. Um, I'm not going to buy this one again. Next time I'm in Michigan, if I'm looking for something, a change of pace from a bourbon, I'll get this again, that malted wheat. Origin, cool bottle. I'll keep the bottle. I'll keep the dragon head. But it's not my thing. So anyway, what do you all think? Have you tried any of the spirits from New Holland Spirits? Love to hear your comments and your feedback. And if you have like tips and pointers on American single malts, give me some heads up because I don't know what I'm doing with single malts. So anyway, thank you all again for tuning in and talk to y'all again real soon.